Jill, also known as the traveling toe reader, and I believe there is so much more we could be, do, have in this human experience. I just got done doing my walk around Lake Junaluska, however you say it. I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure. And I've been thinking a lot today on several things and just wanted to pop on and share why I believe there's so much more than what we are able to currently tangibly see, feel, touch. I have had times in my life where unexplained things have happened. And my mom is on the other side, and she'll leave me pennies and dimes, and in the most unlikely places, not just on the sidewalk where anyone could have dropped it. But today I was sitting in my chair. I work from home and I don't use change. I don't have change. And I got up to use the restroom, and when I came back, there was a dime in my chair. It came from my mom because those dimes and pennies are ways she communicates with me, and I've been asking to understand and communicate better with our guides, our angels, our whatever you want to call it. And if you're living a life that you don't love, that isn't optimal, that you're not filled with joy and love, then there's so much more you could have. And I mean, it's so easy to get caught up in this human experience and eat processed food and drink alcohol and zone out to the TV or social media. And those things lower our frequency and it keeps us in the fog of knowing there's more. After my mom passed, after she, and she wasn't a spiritual person, so to speak. She did this status quo of what you're supposed to do. She lived in her box. And before she passed, she had given out her jewelry. And I had worn a pair of earrings of hers to work in a place that the office I worked in had different floors and different offices in it, and it was cleaned by a janitorial service. And I lost one of her earrings one day, soon after she passed, and I was devastated, not because they were valuable, but because they were hers and it was a link to her, and I was attached to having the earrings and just so filled with sadness. And I looked everywhere in my car. I'd gone to stores that day, and I looked everywhere and it was gone. And then I don't know how much time passed, but it was after the office building had had their cleaning service done, and I was walking out, and there was a fire extinguisher with a lip, like it had a little shelf, a lip, and it was kind of eye view, but not somewhere I would look or notice. And for lack of a better way to explain it, my mom got into my body and made my head and eyes look and see the earring sitting on the ledge of this fire extinguisher shelf. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then she left, and I knew it was her. I felt her. I felt her get in me. It felt odd, but also it happened so quickly. It wasn't something I could really think about. And as soon as I had her earring in my hand, I went to the store to get like earring backs because it didn't have the back on it, and I, wanted to keep wearing them and keep her earrings as a set. That happened 8 years ago. I remember it clearly. I remember the feeling of it. It's not something people talk about. It's not, I don't know how it happened, except she was recently on the other side, and I know she could feel my pain and my attachment to that earring, and it was her way of letting me know she was still with me, her way of communicating. It can be difficult for people on the other side to communicate with us humans still here on this plane because we're so set in our ways and what we know and what we believe to be a truth, and what we don't know we're not open to. There was another time 7 years ago, or maybe a little longer, where I was driving and I had a lot going on, and I was it was like a 35-mile-per-hour area with a four-way stop, and I was driving and thinking and distracted, and I blew my stop sign just in time to see someone coming through the intersection that I was about to T-bone. Like, I saw their face. I saw them look at me, and their like shocked look because they realized I'm going to hit them at 35 miles per hour, or probably a little more. And the the only way to explain this is golden people came, golden angels, and there was one on each corner of my car, and they slid my car around the car I was about to T-bone. It just slid around. And then away they went, and I was free to keep driving. And I pulled over to the side of the road, and like I was like, oh, that was terrible of me. I was in so much judgment of blowing the stop sign, not in the fact I just had amazing angel people like protect me and support me. And I was so caught up in how terrible that would have been. And I was waiting for that person, and then another car passed behind me, and I was expecting someone to come yell at me about how terrible I was. And life went on. Like, the car I was going to T-bone drove away, and the car that was behind me drove past me. And I'm sharing these stories with you because we get so caught up in, I'm seeing I have messages on this live, and I'm not even sure, like, nobody ever watches my lives. So I have a Hey Auntie one, and I'm curious who this is. I can't see the picture attached to it, but I love that. So hello everybody that's watching. And yes, I definitely believe in Jesus. Jesus is one of my peeps that I talk to regularly, but I don't believe in Jesus. And I'm answering one of the questions as I'm randomly, well, my chats are pretty random, as Jesus is one of the people I talk to. He's someone who came here with a message to raise our frequency, help us humans in this experience we're having, and show us how to be in love and neutrality, not in judgment. So I share those stories with you just in, if you're not living an optimal life, ask for help from your guides. Go outside in nature. Get away from the things you're using to distract you. It's getting warm out here. I am sweating like crazy. In just being open to love, trust, and knowing you are not alone. I promise you, you are not alone. Your reason to be here in this human form, there's a purpose for it. There's so much more that we could be experiencing. Focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. Focus on the love. A neat trick that I like to do when really bringing up the love. Like, it's easy to think of puppies and rainbows and babies and things that just are so innocent. And but what if you think about, like, the only time people can hurt us is when we give them that power. And a lot of times we're hurt because we trusted them, we loved them, and then something went awry. I'm twice divorced. So there was a time when I married these two people and believed in the love, like loved them and believed in happy ever after. And now that I'm divorced and there's a lot of water under the bridge in both relationships, a good practice that I find is to go back to that love, to remember the love of that person instead of focus on the things that ended the relationship. Doesn't matter. It's all just an experience I'm having. I'm in neutrality. And love, when you think about, just want this person to feel loved. So I share all that with you in hopes in one way or another it helps you step into what I call the so much more, because there is so much more in this life. And you're not alone. Thanks for watching, everyone, and your comments. I'll go back and read them later after I can see better. Sun's in my eyes, and just, it's a beautiful day out here. I hope you're all having a terrific, amazing day. Much love, everyone. Bye-bye.